How are you all doing?
Hello, I'm off to go and shoot, so I just thought I'd say good morning to everyone. Happy New Year. You're in capable hands with this lovely lady, aren't you?
Blimey.
What are you talking about?
Ooh, blimey. I'll give you one guess.
Sex.
Yeah.
Yeah, thought so.
Bye-bye.
Lots of love, bye.
Goodbye. Morning, everybody. How are you? Morning, Fifi. Morning, Molly. Morning, Vicky. Morning, Ellie. Morning, Belly. Morning, Good Ship, Lollipop. Becky. Vivian. Kate, SG. Natasha. Fifi, Ellery. Linda, Sarah. Witherington. Raspberry Mojito Girl. Margaret O'Brien. And so many more of you. Welcome. Hello, hello, hello. Oh, God, I don't want to see me. So, guys, first of all, I've just been showing off over on Instagram. So now I'm going to show off here too. Well, I say show off, but hopefully I can help motivate as well. So I've been finding it so hard to get up over the holiday. And, you know, Mark and I have said, well, you know, oh, just 1 second, the fridge is open. Hang on. Mark and I keep saying, oh, he's not taking his, oh. Mark and I keep saying, oh, well, you know, it's good because we need the sleep, because we worked so hard through December and didn't get a lot of sleep. But I was starting to get really worried because, of course, Kiki goes back to school next week. Well, she's supposed to go back Friday because of the train strike, she can't go. But, so I said, but at some point, he said, Mark was like, at some point, we just got to get back on the early morning. So I booked the gym. And we left at 7:10 this morning. But Mark was ill actually in the end, but that's another story. But so I've done the gym. I've gone to the gym. I've done my first gym of the year. Now, as you know, I only started going to the gym last year. And I started doing weight training. And I really, really love it. And I really, really regret not having done it for the years before. You don't have to go to a gym. You can just do it at home. But as you get older, as you know, the bones and the muscles. And if it's true that I have shrunk 1.5 inches, Mark's measured me, I'm still unsure. But if it's true, then that means my bones are crumbling. So even more, I need weight training. But anyway, weight training tomorrow morning. Now I've started, I feel so much better. It's getting into the zone, isn't it? And tomorrow I'm going to do yoga. And actually, you know, my yoga teacher, Rachel, she is doing a new course, I think, for January for beginners. She's such a lovely teacher. If you're thinking of starting, just do it. Just do it, because doing yoga or Pilates, all these things as you go through life, lovely open shoulders, strong arms, a bit more zen. But so what was I saying? I suppose that the commitment, it's just making that first step. Don't go on any fad diets. Don't go on any fad exercise. Don't. Just start tomorrow or even later on this afternoon with something that you like. And if that is blasting the music and dancing in the kitchen, that's movement. If it's going for a walk, go for a walk. Just something. I was talking to my girls yesterday about this, and they were saying, one of my daughters was describing how she feels when she runs. And I said, that really sounds like you hate running. So my advice would be, don't run. Just don't do it. If anything that you do that you think, oh, I really hate it, just change it. Just change it. Change it. And just start small and then consistently. Just try and be consistent and just take the leap. Take the leap today. If you can't do something today, then just make the commitment for tomorrow. Commit, as they say in America. Accountability. I'm cutting down on alcohol, says Jess Films. Hi, Ashley. Cutting down on alcohol is always a good idea. Well, since I've been taking as you know, my ADHD medication, I've hardly drunk a thing. Anne-Marie Loher, I did my yoga teacher training at 61. Oh my God, I love that. And so do you now teach yoga? I suppose you could just do the teacher training without actually having to teach it. I suppose it would just be really interesting to find out about it. Kez C, I'm going through a breakup since New Year's Eve, and actually you've just reminded me I can try adding the gym back into this hell. Kez C, just a quick bit of advice on a breakup. Now, obviously, if you're married and you've got children and all of that, it's much more complicated. But if you're not, this is always my advice to people when you break up. Just don't look. Don't look on Instagram, don't look on Facebook, don't look at anywhere. Don't send them those messages that you know really they don't want you to do. They don't really want to receive them. Don't send those messages. Just like block the number, just go cold turkey, because eventually you have to do that. Eventually. I mean, I don't know the circumstances at all. You might have broken up with them and they might be upset, but that's just my general rule. If you've broken up and your heart is broken because they've broken up with you or whatever, cold turkey it. I really believe in that. Holly D, started spin class in October. I love it. Haven't enjoyed exercise like this since my teen. Makes it so easy to keep up. And then you look forward. Exactly. What do you love doing? It's like to one of my girls, I said to her, just don't do all those like bloody apps and things that you're not enjoying. Blast the music and pretend you're in a club. Because when you're in a club, you can dance for 6 hours. There's somebody that I follow on Instagram. Oh my God, I can't remember his name now. But he lost stones by following a good healthy diet and by just dancing in his bedroom, just putting the music on. So that doesn't cost a penny. You don't need shoes, you don't need gym kit, it doesn't cost anything. And there's very few people that don't have just a few tunes that they love that would get them up. I'm gonna have a little bop after this. Bop. God. How old am I? A bop. Please don't say bop, Nadia. Please don't say bop. Oh my God, I said bop. Anyway, I'm having a moment. You know what it is? It's connected to the fact as well that when today I was in the gym, I'm going to say that quite a few times, when I was in the gym early this morning, there was this woman in there and she was so gorgeous. She was Amazonian. She was tall. She had like great shoulders. She had like shaggy blonde hair. She had one of those bottoms that goes like that, and then she had those leggings that go that like do circles on the butt, so the bum looks even more buttish, and her thighs were fantastic. And I was just like, wow, you are gorgeous. I am just gonna bathe in the light just falling around you. I'm just going to look at you from over here. She was just gorgeous and she's really fit and like hardworking and everything. But she was over the other side. And then I had to go over the other side. And I'm there with my weights like this. And I'm like, like trying to pull my shoulder, trying to pull my neck up, trying to do all of this. And she came to the machine opposite. She was like, anyway, I got my Rachel, who's working out with me, to film me doing my thing, and just because I wanted to put it on my stories to motivate and everything. And what you won't know is that I've got that girl opposite me when I'm going. And when I looked at the video, I was like, oh my God, you look like such a sad. But then I had a really good chat with myself. I said, you're not a sad fuck. You are a woman who is trying to go into her next phase of her life, i.e. my 60s, and you're looking after yourself. She was so distracting. I mean, she was just so gorgeous. But anyway, why am I saying all that? I'm saying that because the best bit of advice that you can have for going to the gym is to look down and look ahead. Don't look at anyone else. Oh God. But anyway, we're not gonna. I know I was just saying this over on Instagram. I know lots of you are really sick of the Prince Harry thing, but this is just crazy. Oh, hang on, what was that? Tim Spector was on Lorraine this morning, lads. Totally sold on him now. Looking forward to Monday. Oh, great. Was it? Well, I'll have to have a look. Please, I'm going to put up a story on my Instagram. So any questions you want me to ask him, ask him. And the thing is, it releases you, doesn't it? Just think about it. It releases you from this counting calories, counting all that shit, all that old rubbish. Just, it doesn't work, doesn't work, doesn't work. Oh, quite a few of you watched him. So is everyone sold on what he was saying? Well, I mean, the thing is, it's all based on years of research and science, so you can't really argue with him, really. Right. So, who has seen the Harry story of today? So basically, The Guardian has got hold of one of Prince Harry's books. Now, one of the copies. Now, I was saying to Mark this morning, oh my God, I mean, what happens with The Guardian? Did they get in trouble for like getting this book? How have they got it? It's a leak, then leaking out these stories. Do they get into trouble? Because like, what can often happen when you get these leaks from these books? You think, oh, I've read the juiciest bits, so I don't need to buy it. But but when you actually read what they've put into this article, Mark said, and I think he might be right, I wonder if this was a leak from the publishers. Because the article actually says all the way through the book, there are so many things. Now, oh my God, I just constantly swing back and forth with what I think about Harry and Meghan. And I just felt, if I'm really honest, when I read this today, I felt extreme cringe. I just felt, yeah, Sarah Witherington, it's a PR stunt to rocket book sales. Yeah, often that doesn't work though, because people think they've got the best bits. It's like, wow. So obviously, I mean, for those that haven't seen it, so he details this physical attack by Prince William. He's in his cottage. Prince William comes round, crazy angry, I'm sure. Like, you know, it's his younger brother. He's causing him a load of shit, a bit of a nightmare. He's the future king, and he's making things difficult for him. And I think this could backfire with Harry again, because I think a lot of people, because anyone with siblings knows that, you know, you get into fights, you can get in fights with your siblings at any time. But a lot of people might actually sympathise with William on this. I don't know. I don't know how this is going to play out. But anyway, so basically, Harry says William called Meghan, and this is all inverted commas, this is what Harry says in the book, difficult, rude and abrasive, which Harry calls in the book a parroting of the press narrative about his American wife. The confrontation escalates, and then Harry writes, William grabbed me by the collar, ripping my necklace, and knocked me to the floor, which then resulted in a visible injury. He said that he fell onto the dog bowl, and the dog bowl broke, and he was left with marks and cuts and scrapes on his back. So then apparently William says, come on, get up, let's fight this out. Because apparently I was watching one of the royal correspondents today on something, and he was saying, he goes, you know, I've watched them over years, he goes, and they've always been incredibly close. And they would really, very competitive with each other. Like if they were playing football, they'd really scrum, they would have fights, they would have tussles, very physical with each other. And a lot of brothers are like that. And sisters, but a lot of brothers are like that. A lot of rough and tumble. So William had said to him, come on, you know, fight me kind of thing, like we did when we were kids. And he said, I'm just trying to help you. To which Harry said, "Are you serious? Help me? Sorry? Is this what you call helping me?" And oh, that was what triggered William to then go for him. That's what triggered William to go for him. And then Harry gets up off, gives him this glass of water. William puts it down, and then the attack happens. It was the other way around, sorry. Grabbed me by the collar, So apparently the dog bowl piece is cut into his back. Harry writes that William urged him to hit him back. Then William looked very regretful, apologised, and left. When William left, his brother writes, he turned and called back, "You don't need to tell Meg about this." And Harry said back to him, "You mean that you attacked me?" And William said, "I didn't attack you." Now, this is the most shocking thing of all. Harold. "I didn't attack you, Harold," inverted commas. Can you believe William calls Harry Harold? I've never seen him call him Harold out in the public. What did you think of that? I mean, I find that shocking. Harold! Harry then said he didn't immediately tell Meg, but he did call his therapist. But then later on, Meghan noticed the scrapes and bruises. Now, this is huge, isn't it? I mean, just where we are at so far with this is huge. So Meghan notices the scrapes and bruises. That suggests that there was a lot, doesn't it? Or not, maybe not. Harry says that she wasn't surprised and she wasn't angry. She was just terribly sad. So the Guardian then say, Harry's resentment of being the spare is the unifying theme of this book through the chapters on his childhood, his schooling, his career as a royal in the British Army. And he does talk about many private conversations. This article also says all the way through the book, he relates to private conversations that he's had with his family. And yeah, he recounts intensely private conversations. I mean, one of the things that I read somewhere else was that apparently he said that after Philip's funeral, he and William were sort of going at each other a bit, not physically fighting, I think just arguing. And he actually says that Prince Charles looked up at them and said, "Don't make my final years a misery." Now, that's so private as well, isn't it? It's just like, no, I'm not blaming, AC, I'm not blaming Harry for being assaulted. I'm not. I'm absolutely not. What I'm saying is that this can be construed in many different ways. And I always wonder what he wants when he talks. And I think that a lot of people are going to say, well, these are two brothers fighting. You pushed your brother to this point and you had a brotherly ruck. That is what people will say. I don't know what I think about this. I don't know what I think about this. All I know is I wasn't there, so I didn't see. We never see two sides of the story. We only ever hear one. And I oscillate the whole time for having huge sympathy for Harry and then back to, come on. This is like, don't do this, because you were in an interview just the other day saying that you wanted to win your brother and father back, and now this book coming out and it's like so cringe. He's also claiming, yes, Lucy Hinn, he's also claiming that Will and Kate encouraged him to wear the Nazi uniform in 2005. Do you remember when he wore the Nazi uniform to the party? And apparently he phoned them and he had, I can't remember, 2 different costumes. What was the other costume? And he was trying to decide which one to wear. And apparently William and Kate laughed and thought that the Nazi costume was hilarious and chose that one. What do you think of that? I mean, I just don't think that William and Kate will be able to let that one go without saying something, I don't think. Because it was such a huge story. I mean, the press went for Harry forever about that. And he had to apologise over and over, didn't he? And then he went and he went to meet various rabbis and educated himself. And so I'm just seeing it's quite a lot of you people just not believing it in at all. But lots of you saying you love Harry and Meghan. Okay, so those of you that love Harry and Meghan, do you agree with him doing this book and revealing these really private conversations? My perspective of it is, I feel sorry for him. I think he feels, listen, I've been thrown under the bus loads of times and they've never stood up for me publicly, so I'm going to tell my story publicly. I think that's where it comes from for him. I do. And, you know, I can really sympathise with that feeling of like nobody actually knows what it was like for me. But I still cringe at all these private conversations being put out into the press. That's what I feel. But I understand. Like, one of the other things that he said was that apparently, I don't know whether this is old news. I had never heard this before, but he said that when his mother gave birth to him, apparently his father said to Diana, oh, now you've given me an heir and a spare, my work is done. What do you think about that? I mean, that's just so awful. If that was said, and if that's what he grew up knowing, and then he lost his mother. So you can see where there's this. But then the problem is, I was talking to somebody at the gym today, and she said, the problem is for me, she goes, with all of this, is the money. She goes, yes, I understand that he wants to tell his truth and everything, but what about the amount of money? She said it as simple as this. She said, he's airing his dirty laundry in the public, with the public, and getting paid millions. So she said it just negates everything. How does he know that is true? Someone else must have told him. Yeah. Well, that's what I was going to ask you. Is that something any of you have ever seen on the... Is that something that Diana said? Did Diana ever say that maybe? I don't know. Maybe Diana said it in her interview. So I just want to read some of your comments now to see what you're thinking with it. Oh, those are old comments. So how do okay. Okay. Very sad it's gone to this level, and clearly he's desperate, wants to be heard and validated by families and others so that pups don't lie. So that's the... And then Emily Dinard, horrendous, very telling. He has been silenced for so long and people are complaining he's talking too much now while simultaneously consuming it all. There is Lisa Bradley. There is no context to any of this. The heir and spare comment may have been said, but could have been said in jest. I'm just looking here. It's just quite split down the middle, isn't it? Sibling faith. Siblings argue and fight, but to write about it in public is awful and disloyal. Teresa Saunders. Everyone deserves their own voice, but that doesn't mean it's going to end well if you decide to talk. I don't know, a single family without issues. Yeah. I think that's it. And like somebody else I was talking to the other day was saying, God, you know, I've got so much going down with my family, but I also can't pay the bills. And nobody, you know, why is anybody going to listen to what's going on with me? And I think that's where a lot of people get really divided, isn't it? It's just like, yeah. Sabina, Harry was old enough and educated enough to make an informed choice about the costume. No excuses. Yeah. The costume one feels quite vengeful, but again, I can sort of understand, because if he says, I took all that shit for years about that and you two were part of it, that's what he's saying. So we were all laughing together. We went, you know, they didn't tell him. It was like, I've got these two, which one shall I have? Oh, well, that one's really funny. So it was like, it was all three of them. And maybe that really hurt at the time. And it was like, I really wish my brother had stood up for me and go, we all made this mistake together and we're all so sorry. But I suppose being in the family business, the king, the future king, can't be seen to have made a joke like that. Jude, the whole Harry William thing makes me sad. It's a symbol of how broken the country is. That's so interesting that you say that, because like when I was looking around for other stories today, I said to Mark, I just haven't got the stomach for them all. I haven't got the stomach for Rishi Sunak's speech. I haven't got the stomach for the lies around what he's going to do for the NHS and what he plans for education. I haven't got the stomach for the rage and anger against those people who are striking off through desperation. Now, don't get me wrong, this train strike is a fucking nightmare for everyone. It is in my entire family. Kiki's missed so much school of it because she goes to school so far away. Matt, you know, it's a nightmare. Friends of mine losing money, not being able to get work on time, you know, all of that. But it's just the nastiness, the manipulation by the right-wing press. I'm weary of it, and I'm weary of the terrible tales of violence and the crime rates. So I know what you mean. When you look at this, you feel like it's all cracking at the same time. Doesn't it just feel like that? And to just try and find your bubble and just try and stay like on your path of what I mean, I like the other day, Mark and I said, we're not really going to talk about the Prince Harry thing anymore, Prince Harry and Meghan, because we're all weary of it. But this is such a massive story, because we know that this is not going to stop, that there's the next level and the next level, you know, and obviously there'll have to be multiple interviews to sell this book. I think in America it's selling for 28 quid. Apparently Tesco's are going to do it for 18 here. Listen, there's a few people here saying, but you're reading these stories and you're choosing to read these stories. That is my job. I mean, that's actually my job. I have to read everything, right? First of all, I'm a loose woman. So if I go into Loose Women and I don't know the stories of the day, then that's me not doing my job. And also, if I wasn't on telly, just as a human being, I believe in being across sort of what things are going, but also here, coffee moaning, you know, because for as many people that aren't interested in the Prince Harry, there are people that are interested. So that's my job. So sometimes I like my job, sometimes I don't like my job. And sometimes I don't like my job when I have to consume so much negativity. But with the Harry stories, I am fascinated by the human condition. So I will continue to read the stories or their words, not stories that are made up by other people. I will continue to read his words because I am fascinated by the machinations of family. And I'm fascinated by the way that the world works. And so I will continue to, just because I don't like stories or I feel uncomfortable with them. I was reading a horrific story today about 2 child abusers that are possibly going to get out in the next month. Now, I get no joy or pleasure from reading those. I read those stories because I make the decision whether I want to talk to you about that story or not. And today I didn't feel like it. Today I didn't want to, but I needed to read all the news. So for anyone thinking that I read these stories just because I love a bit of salacious gossip. Now, don't get me wrong, I do love a bit of salacious gossip too. It is my job. I look very relaxed. I go on to Loose Women. I sit here, I chat. Everything looks like I'm just thinking about it. But there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes. I stay plugged in to the world, right across the world. I read things from all over the place. So that's what I do. That's what I do. Angela Thompson, selling the book at half price to get it on the bestsellers list. It's a big spin-off. Oh, is that? Of course, I've never thought of that. I suppose that's what a lot of them do. Erin Bullimore, all of this is just evidence that the monarchy should be abolished. Jess, you feel very strongly about this, don't you? The entire thing is absolute train wreck, only held together by horrifically unhealthy rules and the rigidness of the Queen. The pups don't lie. People can choose to listen. Don't project things on this platform or to others. Let's take responsibility for the choices we make. Oh, Maria H is going to Loose Women tomorrow. No, I'm not on Loose Women until next week. I've got this week off as well. Mandy Lou, hi Nads. I always used to laugh like you about ADHD and would watch you and think that's me. Now I really think I have it. Have you advice on what I should do? I think, well, every day I keep saying I'm going to do another ADHD film and then I don't because I don't feel ready to do it. It's really weird, but I really am going to try and do another one today. But what I would do say is on this channel, we've got a whole playlist of the ADHD films I've done so far. But the first thing to do would be to do the online initial assessment form, then it will tell you whether it's worth you going to the next step. The next step then is to go to your doctor and ask for an assessment after that. There are long waiting lists. But the place where I had it done, ADHD 360, they do a long monthly payment. I think it works out like £12 a month for people that just can't wait on those waiting lists but might need some help with a payment plan. They do that. So I am not in any way affiliated with them or anything. It's just like lots of people will ask me about them. So I had a good experience with them. Right, my lovelies. I'm going to bugger off because I've got so much to do because we've got our new exciting thing on Saturday. So I've got Dina coming round. I keep saying to Mark, can we tell people today? And he keeps going, well, not today. Let's do a thing. And then now it's nearly Saturday. And I haven't told you anything yet because Mark keeps saying, don't tell anyone yet. So anyway, maybe we'll tell you later when Dina's here. But meanwhile, lots of love. Thanks for hanging out with me. Morning is my beautiful daughter. And yeah, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell and we shall see you soon. Lots of love. Bye. Bye.